Today on Biblical Bitcoin, we're going to analyze what Elon Musk might mean by this. Keynes was a demon. Why such powerful language to describe the man who fathered modern macroeconomics? Let's dive in. I want to start with a question that might make us a little uncomfortable. What if the greatest system of theft in human history isn't loud? What if it doesn't come with soldiers, chains, or prison camps? What if it works because it is precisely polite, invisible, and silent? What if the injustice we live in every day is so psychologically subtle that even the church doesn't notice it? That phrase, psychologically subtle, doesn't come from the Bible. It comes from the architect of the economic system we live in today, John Maynard Keynes. Keynes was not just an economist. He was a worldview revolutionary. He openly rejected Christian morality. He frequently mocked thrift, patience, restraint, and self-denial, all virtues that Scripture specifically teaches. He belonged to the Bloomsbury group, an elite circle that openly described itself as immoralist. Keynes himself wrote, "We repudiated entirely the Christian virtues." Not revised them, not updated them, just repudiated. Keynes believed morality was temporary, that it was useful for the masses, but unnecessary for the enlightened. And this belief didn't just stay in his personal life. It bled directly into his economics. Because if morality is flexible, if truth is negotiable, then money becomes a tool for coercion, not a just measure. Here's a line that should haunt every Christian, pastor or not. By a continuing process of inflation, governments can confiscate, secretly and unobserved, an important part of the wealth of their citizens. Let that sink in. Confiscate, secretly, unobserved. This is not a warning. This is a technical description of how to steal on a large scale without being noticed. Keynes understood something that ancient scripture had already taught. Theft doesn't require force, but sometimes only deception. The Bible condemns false weights and measures. Inflation is a false measure. It looks like growth, it feels like normalcy, but it silently drains the widow, the laborer, the saver, and the young family. Rather than opposing this mechanism, Keynes legitimized it, and the church continues to unknowingly submit to this mechanism. Another famous Keynesian line is, "In the long run, we are all dead." The church should recoil at this, because Scripture does not support this nihilistic outlook. It offers a low time preference outlook because our hope is eternal. Keynesian economics explicitly prioritizes short-term stability, immediate consumption, and political convenience at the expense of future generations, moral accountability, and long-term truth. Debt becomes normal, money printing becomes compassionate, and the consequences are someone else's problem. And the church says, "Render unto Caesar," as Caesar continues to silently, perpetually debase the denarius. So what has this worldview produced? Permanent deficit spending, endless emergencies, central banks with godlike power, lowercase g, asset inflation for the wealthy, and wage stagnation for the faithful worker. The system rewards debt and punishes savings. Scripture says the borrower is slave to the lender. Keynesianism says debt is stimulus. The Bible warns against stealing quietly. Keynesianism perfects it. And the church stays silent because it doesn't look like injustice, because it's psychologically subtle. So here's the hard truth. The church preaches generosity while existing, if not endorsing, a system that steals potential for generosity. The church preaches stewardship while accepting money that is designed to rot. The church preaches justice, but says to render unto Caesar, a Caesar that confiscates without consent. Silence does not equal innocence. If the weights are false, and the church knows they're false, then neutrality becomes an endorsement. But here's the good news. 17 years ago, something extraordinary happened. A system was discovered, not imposed, a money, not manipulated, and a ledger, open, honest, and incorruptible. No central authority, no inflation by decree, and no confiscation without visibility. Bitcoin does not promise utopia, but it promises truth. It restores honest weights, long-term accountability, and a time preference that is aligned with Scripture. It's not violent. It's not revolutionary by force. It's a peaceful opt-out. I still hear stories of pastors refusing to accept donations in Bitcoin because they don't understand it. They believe they're deceiving the flock. But the question is no longer, is the system unjust? The question is whether the church will continue to submit to it just because the theft is subtle. God hates dishonest scales, he hates hidden theft, and he hates systems that prey on the weak. Bitcoin is not salvation, but it is a chance for the first time in generations to align money with truth. And the church must decide, will it keep defending a system built on psychological subtlety and theft? Or will it finally see that subtle injustice is still injustice?